all this. Instructions. Read those. Those would be 4 left. 2 batteries. Because this thing has a freaking laser. That's your dust bag. An Allen key, because everything always comes with an Allen key. Nope. At least you don't have to assemble the whole bloody saw. Oh. There's the clamp for the wood. Feels meaty and well engineered. And that is the rest of the table. So it looks like I'm going to need an adjustable wrench, which does not come with the machine. Back in a minute. Spring washer, slab washer, and a nut. Are the tolerances fine enough so that I can do these up and everything else will go together properly?
Probably not.
Probably not. You're absolutely right. Tolerances are not fine enough. So this is one full side now, which will gradually build up to form the table. But since watching a guy put a washer and another washer and another nut onto a screw for about another 24 times or so is going to be a bit boring, we'll cut here and come back when it's assembled. So this is the table completed. It takes about 15 minutes to get all the nuts and washers in finger tight, assemble it on a level surface indoors, making sure it's all true and square, and use a power driver, because if you do it with a spanner by hand it'll take you forever and it's a pain. Right, let's get this fella onto its stand. It's got rubber feet which have holes in them to put the bolts through. Takes out some of the vibration on the stand. Hopefully will not loosen the bolts over time. You can of course bolt this directly to a workbench. Hello cat. Cat's always wanted to appear on television. Let's do it that way. Get them lined up roughly. And the rubber stoppers have got a little bit of residual rubber. So now 4 big bolts, which will drop through the holes and hopefully get roughly lined up. That's that residual rubber I was talking about. This one's being a little fiddly. Right, that's all the bolts in. So all the bolts are in. Annoyingly, I don't have a 13mm socket, but it's a 13mm you need. So I'm just going to hold it in place from underneath and tighten these up. The other side. It's always nice when you've got a ring spanner as well and you can actually get it on there. If you have a socket that's 13mm, you can do that from underneath and hold it in place with the ring spanner on the top, and that does reduce the risk of scratching the red paint, which unfortunately I'm doing a little bit of now. And the inevitable's happened. The cat's found the cardboard box. It seems all good and stable. Right, and these. Cameras. Very famous man once said, "Why does everything I think I need always come with batteries?" God knows what he was talking about. Get the cover back on, it's a little fiddly. But it does have a laser. Okay, so we got these two sidebars on. They just screw in with a couple of hand screws here. Did have a devil's hand job with this though. This screw thread, not very well tapped at all. This is the post that holds your clamp, and this was an absolute sod. This is, after all, it's really a hobby grade machine. It's not designed for professional use for somebody who's going to be on site all day, every day. But you've got a handy clamp there, that slides up and down, locks into place, and then you can clamp your wood in there as required to stop it moving around when you're sawing. But handy thing, and it comes off and gets out of the way when you don't need it. No real place to store it, as you can see. And there is a dust bag. It just comes with a little clip there, and slide that over there and lock it into place around the ring. And that's designed to catch at least some of the dust from the blade, although of course it will kick out dust when you're using it. This probably could do with, I would suggest, some thick grease, some Vaseline or similar, just because it is a little bit, there's obviously ball bearings in there, you can hear them rattling, but you know, a little bit of grease probably wouldn't cause any harm. Okay, and then you've got the safety thumb catch and the power button, and ready to go. And there's a handy little knob here so that you can lock it down, lock it away, and when you want to use it you just pull that out, twist it through 90 degrees, and up she comes and ready to go. Right, I suppose I better find something to chop. So basically the machine's all set up and ready to go. Because of the problem I had with this little knob here that's not working properly, I've just used a normal hex head M6 for the time being. Handy thing is the tube that holds the clamp is useful space to store the Allen keys. So we're ready to, essentially, I've had a couple of practice goes, which is why, for those continuity geeks who may have noticed, there is a little bit of dust now on the machine. So it comes locked in this position. So around here is a little knob. So you push gently down on the handle, pull that out and rotate it 90 degrees, and that releases the mechanism up ready for use. There's a little switch here for your laser guide, because this thing has a freaking laser beam, and it's not 100% accurate, but it's a good start. But just be careful that the laser is a lot more narrow than the saw blade itself, so definitely worth having a few practices. This is the release handle that you use here with your thumb to bring the head down, either to start cutting or to lock it back into position like so when you finished using it. Okay, we can release that up. This is your power handle here, power trigger. We'll start with a couple of basic straight cuts. So get wood in there, easily clamps into place so it's nice and stable. Make sure we're all protected. So turn on the laser, and there is the laser beam. And we're just doing a straight cut, it's set to 0 degrees. It's all clamped into place, it's nicely pushed back against the stops there. So thumb lever over, bring it down, and power. And a nice clean cut. Make sure you go all the way back to the stop and don't rush the machine. Let it do it at its own pace, otherwise you could end up causing yourself or the wood or the machine some injury. So let's try now just seeing how accurate the laser is. Got a tri-square here. So let's position the wood. So what you need to be careful of is that the laser aligns with the right hand edge of the saw blade. So if you're eyeballing your mark, you want to do it from this side, not this side. And bear in mind, you are going to lose the width of the blade. So if you're actually cutting for accuracy, you want to bring it in from this side and clamp from this clamp position here. And that way you're going to get your length more accurate, which is why the scale, of course, is on this side. Very easy to do a diagonal cut in one direction. Simply unscrew this, select your required angle on here. Let's do 22.5, as if we were making something octagonal. Line up your marker just there. And there's the beginning of your 8-sided, let's say, patio table. Right, so it's all set up, it's ready to go. I've had a few test shots and I'm hungry, so I'm going to make a sandwich.